So you've done the self-help and you've dipped into some personal development, but now you ask the question, now what? What can you do? Well, if you want to escape the apathy, step right this way. So twice a year, I teach a course called AUTONOMY. It's a 12-week personal development and training course. What people get out of it is multifaceted. There's curriculum, there's exercises, there's camaraderie, you make new friends. There's a whole lot of interesting things. We're going to hear a sample from the course right now, and let's take a look at the value these students are getting.
I had a curiosity on interviews. I was listening through some of the First Peace Revolution podcasts, and you made a comment that William T. Stead invented the thing we call the interview.
Absolutely.
Was there no such thing as...
No, there was no such thing or any medium to convey such a thing, really. So the newspaper existed, but no one had ever printed an interview. And if memory serves, William T. Stead, who was in charge of the review of reviews, he was also Cecil Rhodes' partner in the secret society. He also was executor of Rhodes' last will and testament. He came to knowledge in the public primarily through his interview with General Gordon in like 1886. And it was a propaganda piece basically to convey British power. So Stead, being like a useful idiot in that structure, was like, hey, how about I ask you these questions so that you can give the answers that we want the public to know. And so very much the first use of the interview was not so much about learning and personal edification and moving things forward. It was like, how do we propagandize people using the newspaper in a new way? Instead of the journalists telling you, because every other article was the journalists telling you the news, right? In the interview, General Gordon gets to give you directly what they want you to have. Now, you can fact check me, but I'm pretty sure that it was around that time, and that was the character. And if you go to William T. Stead's Wikipedia page in the first couple paragraphs, it probably should tell you something like that. Does that make sense? Did it flow through?
That's definitely coming through, because I'm seeing through this course with the interview as a skill set, as a tool to pull out and use appropriately. It can be used to propagandize or do high pressure sales. But something like Joe Rogan, for example, is like a low pressure get information through. So I was just really curious that was not just a thing people did until that William T. Stead actually utilized it.
Yeah, for sure. And so, and then think about Rogan. Does he sell more stuff than almost anybody else out there? Yeah. But do you ever feel like he's, you know, he's a salesman when he's reading the ads before the podcast, you know, whether it's the me underwear or the watch it, whatever the thing is they're selling, like that's part of it. That's part of the shtick of having sponsors for podcasts. But he also knows how to do an interview and make people interested in things along the way that they're like, I want that thing too. And that's implicit sales. That's just good conversation. That's just talking about meaningful, substantial, interesting ideas that other people are like, I want to engage in important, interesting, meaningful, substantial ideas too. And that's why it's like, you don't have to convince water to go downhill. You just have to clear the way for it, find the, you know, its path.
Everyone's doing some kind of self-help these days, and you can find a million self-help courses out there. Most other courses out there are hosting lectures, they're hosting videos, they're maybe even doing Q&As, and these are great starting points to encourage learning. But at AUTONOMY, we believe that hands-on practice is the best way to really lock in what we're learning. There's no better way to gain confidence and mastery than through action. After each lecture, we practice the concepts we've learned with other students, giving and receiving feedback in a non-judgmental environment. The result is mastery of concepts like entrepreneurship, ethical sales, and self-reliance in an environment that directly translates to the real world. Plus, you make connections with other like-minded individuals who are learning right alongside you, and you have a lifetime membership in the community. The AUTONOMY course with Richard Grove equips you with confidence, competence, and courage in a world filled with confusion and noise. You can learn more at getautonomy.info. We'll see you there.